emergency. He has got assault police marker.
Vehicle stopped.
Just get ready to
Give me your hands. On the floor now!
North Yorkshire's traffic cops.
Crash, 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 crash.
140 mile an hour. How stupid are you?
Driving down crime in England's largest county.
Don't lie to me.
Stone.
Across 3,000 square miles.
Your vehicle's been stolen by an ambulance heading towards.
Dealing with danger on the roads.
What the bloody hell are you doing?
Male is trapped in the vehicle upside down.
Under pressure.
Go over there and I will speak to you.
Come on, mate, talk to us.
Out! You're under arrest. Don't move.
And at risk.
Tell me I can't see. Right, you're under arrest. What's up? Right, you've had enough.
That's serious organised crime level.
You're on strikes, mate. You're going to go to prison.
Around every corner,
Who's going to kill somebody?
Why haven't you stopped?
there's a new challenge for the traffic cops.
Show me your hands! Show me your hands!
Coming up,
This vehicle speed up to 110.
young and inexperienced drivers. Out of control
Young lad, probably late teens.
and risking everything.
Keep him off the A1.
Come on, mate, talk to us. Can you hear me?
A teenager fights for his life.
He's in and out of consciousness now. Passengers have decamped, but the driver's made off, sped off at speed.
And a speeding runaway driver
Vehicle's on its roof. Can we have an ambulance, please?
forces officers to take drastic action.
Just try and get in the windows. Windows smashed.
Should a bit of blast around York? See if we can get some mobile phoners. I'll play bad cop. We'll swap, yeah? You play bad cop, I'll play bad cop. How about that?
It's just after 8 in the morning. Traffic cops Richard Clark and Richard Ellis are out on patrol.
Just on street. Silver 541.
Go ahead, boss.
We've got a unit saying it is a legitimate SMB.
On the outskirts of York, an unmarked firearms unit is following a teenager in a stolen vehicle.
Let's try and get a stinger in place and we'll sting it.
Drivers, young lad, probably late teens, early 20s.
In the UK, there are nearly 3 million drivers aged between 16 and 25.
A male driver, he had sunglasses on and looked like a dark-coloured beanie hat on.
Young male drivers are 4 times more likely to be killed or seriously injured behind the wheel.
2-3 on interrupts, onto the roundabout, stand by. There's no change, no reaction to my presence.
Rich and Rich are just a few minutes behind the firearms unit.
2-3, directly behind the vehicle, it's not reacting to my presence.
You marked or unmarked?
I'm unmarked X5, boss.
We've got one car behind it on a subtle follow. We don't want a reaction this time without having other supportive units in place.
Reacted. 2-3, this vehicle's reacted to my presence, gone through a red light, and I will consider this to be a pursuit. Have authority to continue, please.
So we have the authority for the CP facing granted. Well, no, come in.
Speed is 90, it's overtaking vehicles. 2-3, still overtaking vehicles.
My career, 98% of the filter stops I've been involved in are all high speed, high risk, danger to everybody that vehicle's going to come into contact with before it stops.
Mr. Romeo 2-1, got 3 vehicles now.
Clark and Ellis join the unit ahead, pursuing the stolen car.
Do you want to bring a marked car as front car to take the lead?
2-1 will come through. We're third car will come through to take lead. Stand by.
2-1 will come through.
2-1, take your privacy.
continuing 90 miles an hour.
Taking the lead in a marked car will help alert other drivers to the danger.
Who we got ahead of us, please?
1309's coming, get him to the A1.
2-1, vehicle speed up to 110. There's multi-occupants in the car.
Tactic to get to A1.
Yeah. We're going to take this up to the A1 by the looks of things.
Yeah, you've got sticky unit pushing up the A1.
The car is racing towards the motorway at over 100 miles an hour.
The most dangerous place in a pursuit, a fast road or a motorway, that's the place you are most likely to get killed.
Side junctions. Stand by, stand by. Stand by, stand by. It's now off, off, off. Get tight, let's see if we can get a box on this road. It's lost a load of speed, we're down to 50.
The team want to stop the car by boxing it in.
It's dangerous, chasing baddies, but needs a collective effort. And that's all of us go towards and help before somebody gets hurt.
There's no traffic at all.
Stand by. Okay, go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, just regroup.
Yeah, regroup. We'll go for it now. Move up, move up, move up. Shoot right, we've got a box on. Bring it down, bring it down.
Bring it down, bring it down.
Bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. Stand by, it's broken out of the box again. Got 2 occupants, it's definitely a front seat passenger. Young lad, probably late teens, early 20s. Speed is 80, driving in the middle of the road now, trying to prevent us from passing again.
Go on. So I want to try and get to the roundabout junction. I'll try and get a stinger at the end of that junction.
Lovely, mate, understood. Now into a 20, if that were Iris now, into a 20 at 80, over speed bumps out towards the A1. Straight across, clear. He's failed to negotiate a give way.
The increased risk is now going up and up and up. You've got people's lives at risk, including Rich, the officer. If I get it wrong, someone will get hurt. We've got to be switched on, and that's where the training comes in.
Failing to concede to give way. Medium race passing civilian vehicles, back down to low, off in ahead. We're back out towards you now. Passing now offside. He's going towards the roundabout before the A1. Speed is 60. Coming towards you now.
Stinger.
Using a stinger on the stolen car's tyres is the last chance to stop the suspect reaching the motorway.
Big unit. Stinger at junction.
Coming up.
Sting contact, the roundabout, the wrong way around, front tyres gone, stand by.
A speeding runaway driver putting lives at risk.
Keep him off the A1.
And
Come on, mate, talk to us.
the clock is ticking
15 minutes, ambulance, mate.
as a young rider's life hangs in the balance.
When you arrive and there is no ambulance, the worst place to be.
He's down to low.
Stand by.
200 to come through.
Shoot right, we've got box on, bring it down, bring it down. We're going to take this up to the A1 by the looks of things.
Yeah, you've got sticky unit pushing up the A1.
On the outskirts of York, a young driver is speeding at over 100 miles an hour in a stolen car.
He's going towards the roundabout before the A1.
North Yorkshire traffic cops Rich Clark and Rich Ellis want to stop the car reaching the motorway. A police stinger is their last chance.
Nice one. Possible front near side sting contact. We are negotiating
front tyre's gone.
the wrong way around. Front tyre's gone. Stand by. We're trying to keep him here. Trying to keep him off the A1 here. Stand by.
Right, gonna have to put him out
We're gonna
now.
have to put him out. Tactical contact. We're gonna go for tactical contact to keep him off the A1.
Got your body camera rolling, mate.
You're under arrest for dangerous driving and failing to stop the theft of motor vehicle. You don't have to say anything, but I'm armed with defence. You're going to make some questions, show your later line in court. Anything you do say, maybe get evidence. You understand?
Brilliant sting there by colleagues. Instantly takes 2 tyres out. He's lost some control and he's heading for the motorway, pushing that car as hard as he can. It would have ended up in death and destruction for somebody. So I've made the decision that car will not reach the bottom of that slip road.
Yes.
You all right, Rich?
Yeah, mate.
Car, right?
No.
Get him up.
Right, go with me, mate. I'll tell you to stop.
You failed to stop for police. You've got the power to obtain a specimen of your saliva to test for cannabis and cocaine, all right? Stick your tongue out for us. Note on the log, please. 836. He was locked up for theft of motor vehicle, dangerous drive, failed to stop. All right, test positive for cannabis. Further locked up, mate, for drug driving. All right, test positive for cannabis.
In the last 3 years, drug driving has more than doubled to over 10,000 cases a year.
You got them a drink out back of there?
Right. Everyone's going to get to the next.
Unfortunately, one of our new BMWs has suffered a little bit of damage, but that car can be replaced. People can't.
And those lads, they'd have got on that motorway and they would have killed themselves. They'd have stepped out in front of a juggernaut dead, or they would have endangered other persons. You know, all right, these lads have had it away, but ultimately they don't deserve to die. Their punishment isn't death. But they don't care about that. They're young, they're stupid, and reckless and dangerous.
That young man will be going to prison without a shadow of a doubt. So that's another naughty boy off the streets, out of the way of public harm.
Yeah, only update we've got is that nurse scene is concerned about his injuries. He has facial injuries and there is a large amount of blood. Male is laid out in the road currently.
Support.
Clark and Ellis are back on patrol and have been called to a serious motorbike crash.
We're en route to a 2-vehicle RTC, serious injury. Early information is a motorcyclist has gone into the back of a vehicle, but there's a nurse on scene who's been passing by and she's concerned for the motorcyclist. There's meant to be a lot of blood.
When you get a bike accident, you do get that lump in your throat because it usually means either serious or a fatal collision.
They have advised that there is no free ambulance anywhere in the area.
Someone's waving us down here.
The young motorcyclist has lost a lot of blood and is in a critical condition.
Which leg's hurting?
Can you hear me, mate?
There are no ambulances available, so it's down to the traffic cops, a passing nurse, and the rider's granddad to help.
He's just gone off again.
Your nurse?
Yes.
Keep him talking.
And your hair is darling.
Come on, wake up.
Your granddad's here.
The lad's my grandson. Received a quick call to say that he had an accident and was only 500 yards away. 5 or 6 weeks ago, he gets his bike, and unfortunately, we are where we are now. It's very, very traumatic. Come on, wake up.
Can you hear me?
When you arrive at these scenes and there is no other blue light services there, the one you really want to see is an ambulance. But they're not there. It's the worst place to be.
You still at school? College?
When you're dealing with casualties, the quiet ones, they're the ones that are slipping away. And this rider was quiet.
Come on, mate, talk to us. "15 minutes, did you say?" Right. 15 minutes, ambulance, mate.
15 minutes.
Keep him talking.
While they wait for medical help, Rich and Rich begin their investigation.
That's the van, is it?
It was that van there. It was that there. Straight into the back of it.
Big bang. Who's seen that van move?
Clarky, that camera's got it all on. That black pod, half hit the drain pipe.
Oh, yeah.
That looks like it's caught the collision.
The lads in the fencing van were actually sat in the van having a pot of tea.
They've been startled by an almighty bang.
Well, they've heard a bang.
Come round.
They've come running out and they said you couldn't see.
Because the sun's right in his face. They've moved it. He was underneath it, so they moved it to see if they could help him out. I don't think we're going to get any better evidence at this point in time. Low-lying sun, shining very brightly towards where the moped would have been riding from. And he's collided with a parked vehicle.
Blinded by the sun, you've got to stop. Anything could be in front of you. You could have pedestrians walking across the road. If your eyesight's lost for even a momentary period of time, that can be catastrophic, as it's most likely been in this case. He's not seen it. He's not been able to react in time because he's not reduced his speed.
Any update regarding ambulance?
They've had to divert
To that
the
one.
ambulance to another serious RTC, but this job is next on the list to be dispatched.
Ambulance were en route here, they've diverted to that other one.
Keep talking to us, we want you to stay awake.
Open your eyes down and
Yeah, as soon as this ambulance comes, we'll get you some pain relief. We got told 15 minutes. That's now been diverted to potentially another fatal RTC. And we've got a 17-year-old laid outside of the road in immense pain, I can only imagine. We're now back in the queue for an ambulance.
I think that might be our lot, might be our firearms car with pain relief. Hey mate, lad down here mate, looks like potentially multiple fractures, top and bottom.
Got our colleagues from firearms, they're all trained in first aid, they all carry oxygen.
Just relax this arm. Just relax this arm if you can. Right. What I want to do is just try and get you this nipple and just get you off position. All right, you okay?
Hopefully, young lad, I'm hoping he's going to be all right.
Tell him he's got in and out of consciousness.
He's in and out of consciousness now.
The young rider is unresponsive, but after a 40-minute wait, an ambulance finally arrives.
How long have you been down there for? I'm just saying, you couldn't ask for a better passerby. Well, like, it's a miracle.
The passing nurse can now hand over to the paramedics.
I used to work for A&E in York. I've more or less just retired. My husband was just driving along and we could see people trying to clear the road. You just do what you can, best you can. It's different with no equipment available, but hopefully everything goes well.
It was difficult to deal with him and not cry. The paramedics and the police, you can't sing their praise enough. They were tremendous. And I just hope now he gets a good recovery, but he'll never have another bike. Not while I'm breathing.
Okay.
What's okay?
Off to York. Broken leg and a broken wrist.
Not life-threatening?
Not life-threatening. So we're happy with that.
We've all been 17 at some point. I remember getting my first two wheels and you've got your freedom. But the flip side of that, you've got no protection. If you're involved in a collision on a moped, I don't think he'll ever get on two wheels again. Which, for me, is a win.
Coming up.
But the driver's made off, sped off at speed.
A young and desperate driver, trapped in a smoking car.
The vehicle's on its roof. Can we have an ambulance, please?
And a late-night joyride ends in a crash.
Oh, it looks like that. It's that Beamer, isn't it?
Approaching the traffic lights with the toll bridge, stand by for direction. Through traffic lights on red, and it's a left, left, left.
S12 units, there's tracking is called in. The vehicle's currently head towards Selby.
Monitored, just entering Selby now.
Nighttime is a critical time for the traffic cops tackling dangerous young drivers.
Yeah, I've got you on the map.
18 miles south of York, a car full of youngsters has failed to stop for local officers.
431.
Passengers have decamped, 4 out. Passengers have decamped, but the driver's made off, sped off at speed. Total 21, speed is 90.
XN to all units, if you can all start making toward.
1655, where do I need to be?
Yeah, this vehicle's heading towards Hull.
Making towards you.
Thank you.
Highly trained pursuit officer Sergeant Leanne Anderson is joining the chase.
That's it, you don't move then.
Speed is 100.
We're going to try and get ahead for a stinger.
No idea why it's failed to stop, what's gone on.
Speed is 100.
I am coming down the A19, making towards you.
Yeah, monitored.
The driver is reaching speeds of 100 miles an hour and is being pursued by 2 police cars.
The vehicle went through the bollards. I think he was looking for an exit, but he's come back on again.
It's highly dangerous to get away from a pursuing police driver because you've got to push yourself beyond your own abilities. They don't have great anticipation of hazards because they're inexperienced. They take unnecessary risks.
Speed is 110.
It doesn't always end that well for them.
Vehicle stung, and it's off the road. It's a crash, crash, crash.
Oof.
Just a reminder about activating your cameras.
Vehicle on its roof. Can we have an ambulance, please?
Calling ambulance now.
And we could do with fire as well. There's smoke coming from the vehicle. Let's try and get in the windows. Windows smashed.
Yeah,
We're going to have to get him out, mate. There's smoke coming from that.
I'm going to try and get you out of here, mate, all right?
Male is trapped in the vehicle upside down.
So when you got a cut for a seatbelt?
There is smoke.
To join the 63.
Upside down.
There you go.
There is smoke.
Take it easy, grab his arm.
Male is out of the vehicle, out of the vehicle.
Are you injured? Right, sit down there.
We've got an ambulance coming to check you out, buddy, all right?
Check it out of it, mate.
He's got blood coming from his ear as well, mate.
As there has been a crash during a pursuit, it's not just the young driver who's under investigation.
I'm a roads policing supervisor from North Yorkshire. Do you want me to help?
Yes, if you could do it,
Leanne will now oversee the scene and determine if any of the officers were at fault for the crash.
Stay at 6.
She's got a pulse. He's unconscious, mate. He's gone unconscious.
Okay, an ambulance is now being upgraded to a category 1 XH.
Have you got any traffic supervision in
No,
your
there's no
parcel
traffic
now?
supervision on site.
Obviously, we're well into Humberside's area, so I'll just oversee it till they get here, and so we're just babysitting at the moment. So. Phil, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Who was in the car with you, or were you by yourself?
Garrick and Gilly were behind us.
Behind you?
Yeah.
Was it just you two?
Yes.
As part of the investigation, you'll have to be breathalyzed, and we'll go through that process because we've got a call out for some investigations. Can you breathalyse Phil and Phil, please, if you don't mind, and just make a record of that for me? First, paramedic status 6, just doing his initial assessment. When the fire service come down to check that car over, make sure they only do the very minimum to make sure it doesn't set on fire and not to move anything else. No cutting things out or doing anything other than that.
Potential for internal injuries, but he's refusing any help.
What was the update?
We're not worried about it being a
Yeah.
fire risk now.
That's fine, it can stay where it isn't. Loads of beer cans in it. I suspect he's probably going to fail on something because the car's full of booze cans, and then he's decided he's going to get up and walk to the back of the ambulance.
Okay, is he under arrest now?
I don't think so.
We will settle that then.
Okay. He's just refused some of the treatment at the roadside, i.e. he won't go on a stretcher, but they're still querying whether he's got internal injuries. He's travelled quite a significant distance in a vehicle out of control into a field.
Blow, 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 blow. Stop. Lovely. Blown 23, the legal limit's 35.
What's the results in the
He's blown
prelim?
23.
Right.
Drug white pending, and
Yeah.
Sophie's going to nick him now, fail to stop dangerous drive for now.
And if he's blown 23, we probably want to have him for section 4 and fit as well.
Okay. Do you want to further do unfit? Because he's blown 23, so we can suspect some sort of alcohol.
I'm going to clear everybody out of the scene and create a new cordon. There we go. It's way further back than what I thought. Where the wheels probably first hit the curb, the fresh gouge mark is there. If you stand and look at that to where the car's ended up and the tracks through the grass. He's travelled about, that looks about 50 metres to me. There is no real understanding of why he failed to stop. He perhaps thought that he might be over the drink drive limit. He's very lucky to walk away from it because he's been doing 100 miles an hour. At the point that you hit the verge, you have no control over that car anymore, and it looks like it's probably rolled several times. There's quite a large number of young drivers that fall into that trap of being naive, not really aware of the dangers, definitely have a lot of overconfidence. There's still that big element of needing to show off to people. They just want to put the foot down and go.
More than 100 young drivers are caught speeding every day. It's the most common offence by youngsters.
Worked hard today, us.
Yeah, we've been all right. We dropped on a few, didn't we?
4-hour shift, and we've had a 15-minute sit down with a sandwich.
Near Tadcaster, traffic cops Rich Clark and Rich Ellis are helping an HGV stuck on a dark country road.
Go ahead.
Gonna have to arrange a police powers recovery, please.
I'll receive.
Lovely, thank you.
He chose this location here to stop for the night and have a rest, and he's just caught the soft grass verge and sunk the cab into it.
We've just seen a car come round at a stupid speed, really, and narrowly avoid our police vehicle.
All of a sudden, this BMW materialises from the horizon. You know, he's not messing about, and this person wants to get somewhere quickly. I think everybody there got that feeling that something's going to happen.
There's a nasty accident a mile back there.
How far up?
A mile.
We'll have to have a look, aren't we?
Minutes later, a passing driver alerts the officers to an overturned car up the road.
1600.
Go ahead.
A member of the public has informed us the vehicle on its roof
probably about a mile from our position, so we're going to have to go and see what's happening.
Thank you.
The first thing I thought was it'll be that bloody one series, whatever it was, that scooped past. There we go. Oh, it looks like that. It's that Beamer, isn't it?
Coming up, a joyrider in his mum's car faces some tricky questions.
People came flying past us, mate. You know what? When I heard that there was a car crashed, do you know what I thought? It is completely overturned, blocking both lanes.
And
Legal on 91, OK? So that's quite a long way over the legal limit.
a student's boozed-up scoot home ends in a trip to custody.
I don't want to worry my parents.
$1,600. It's a BMW that came flying past us earlier. Looks like it's lost control.
In North Yorkshire, traffic cops Rich Clark and Rich Ellis have been called to an overturned car that had sped past them just a few minutes earlier.
It is completely overturned, blocking both lanes. As soon as you've put a car on its roof, speed as well, and you've rolled a vehicle, it's crumpling under the weight of the impacts. The occupants are essentially inside a washing machine. Your body's loose and limber. It doesn't take much to break your arms, break your legs, break your neck. So when you see a car on the roof, alarm bells are ringing. Whose car is it, mate? Do we know? It's lad here. Did you just come up and see it?
Yeah.
Lovely, thanks. Hello, mate. Is it your car? Your mum's car. You came flying past us, mate. You know what? When I heard that there was a car crashed, do you know what I thought? It was that black BMW. For obvious reasons. What are you doing in your night dress? How are you feeling? You got a day? Have you had a drink or anything like that?
Yeah, I've had 2 beers, but...
Okay. Mate, if you've walked out of that, you've been a lucky lad. But we need to look at you. Have we got an ambulance? Is the ambulance here?
My dad's just dead.
Is he? In terms of car, is it all legitimate? No.
My mum's, I've brought it down to pick my mate up, and obviously I've not been down on insurance or whatnot.
Right. Have you got a licence? No. Right, all right, mate. So not driving licence, no insurance. Hello, pal, you all right? He's guarding his chest, he's guarding his right side, pulley rib cage. He's complaining of a headache. Who did you phone? Did you phone ambulance? Yeah. Nah, smashing, mate.
I stopped. I could see twitching the airbag in the window, so
Yeah.
while I was ringing ambulance, I went over and he started beeping on.
He's just speaking to paramedics now. He's also suggested he's had a couple of beers earlier on today, so when we get the opportunity, we'll be obtaining a specimen of breath.
Just on my way home, there was nobody else on scene. I just dragged the door open and there he was. Pretty much unconscious. I think he was in a bit of shock, cold, dressing down barefoot, walking on glass. So, sat him in the car out of the way, tried to keep him warm. He's only a young lad, and he's obviously made a mistake. Poor lad's got to deal with the consequences now, hasn't he?
He said to me, he says, oh, I'm in trouble, aren't I? I says, go on, my dad's a fed.
His dad's a sergeant with him, so his dad'll go there.
I know, I can imagine, mate. He said to me, my dad works for police. And straight away, your eyes are rolling at that point in time. What have you done, son? What have you done? If that had been my lad, had my car away and rolled it and had a few beers on board, and then put me in that situation, knowing my profession. I don't condone his behaviour, his driving, but at that point in time, I felt quite sorry for him because for rollicking of his lifetime. 600, except. We've got one male driver. He's admitted to taking the vehicle. It looks like his mum's car to pick a mate up. He's not got a driving licence, not got insurance. He's complaining of head pains and also potentially fractured ribs. He's in his gym jams. He's got his dressing gown on. He's been driving in flip-flops. And his dad's a cop. That's going to not play out well for him, isn't it? No. That's... You look at that, it's got bloody death written all over it, and any other day, yeah?
So first point of impact, going to be there's his tyre marks. That's where he's corkscrewed round.
So he's come down here way too fast. Last place you want to be in a car when it's rolling is a convertible car. It's a bit of canvas, isn't it, for the roof. Head onto the tarmac, game over.
Unbelievable, really. Young lad, thinking like he's on a racetrack. It's a moment of stupidity. You know, we've all been young, we've all done daft stuff, but some people are just prepared to push it that little bit further, and the consequences can be catastrophic.
The driver will now be checked for injuries at hospital.
Scooters.com. They're lethal, those things.
Traffic cop Sergeant Leanne Anderson is on patrol in York.
Definitely, if you weren't fit to ride one, you could cause some serious damage because they've got no protection. It's only like riding a low-powered moped.
In most places across the UK, it's illegal to drive an e-scooter on public roads, but it is allowed in York as they are trialling their use.
The car behind us on the scooter is not steady, shall I say. It's all over the place. He's wobbly, isn't he? Is he going to stop?
Back towards Arrogate.
Hi. You're a bit wobbly.
Really bad.
Yeah. Because honestly, you're wobbling all over the road on the scooter, so I'm a little bit concerned whether you're impaired.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah. What have you had? Have you had anything else?
Sorry?
Have you had anything else? Any drugs or anything like that?
No.
And I can tell that he's a little bit cagey, but he's not what I would class as our normal clientele. When you stop really bad drivers, quite often they get out and start arguing with you.
Can I
just wait a second.
Ride on this?
Give it a second. Give us a second. Came across a little bit as a rabbit caught in the headlights. Let's not beat about the bush. You are driving a mechanically propelled vehicle on the road. All right, so I'm going to do a breath test on you.
Yeah.
Main concern you've got now is whether or not you are over or under the prescribed limit. Because if you're over, you take a trip to the police station. Do you have a driving licence? I presume you do if you've got one of these. Yeah. And you're aware that you can't ride one whilst intoxicated.
Yeah.
But you chose to do it anyway.
Yeah.
OK. How old are you?
20.
Young people don't really see the risks associated with e-scooters because they do see them as a toy. You don't need licence and insurance to ride a pedal cycle. Also, I suppose young people maybe see them in the same sort of category. No, hang on. Breathe in first and then blow into the tube. Don't suck the tube, OK? Just blow into it. Go and keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. That'll do. So the legal limit's 35 micrograms of alcohol. And you've blown 91, OK? So that's quite a long way over the legal limit.
OK.
You are under arrest on suspicion of drink driving, so...
OK.
1655, Ixon.
Hello.
Can you get a van for me, please? I'm on Hull Road.
1850 next time we can assist with the van. We are in town.
Yeah, lovely, yeah. Thanks, sir.
It's an e-scooter rider has blown 91 on device 159.
Amazing.
You've obviously never been arrested before or anything like that, so when my colleagues come with the van, they're going to put you in the back of the van and they'll search you before you go in the van, take you to York custody, and then we'll do another breath test. He probably didn't think he was as drunk as what he was. And they're in the back for you. I'll see you at custody. Maybe thought I've had a couple, so I'll be all right to get home. But it was more serious than first thought. 91? That's fairly high. The thing is about him as well, he knew it was an offence, and he still chose to do it. could have just walked home.
Where you're a student at? University of York. Yeah. So do you want anybody informing that you're here? Yeah, I don't want to worry my parents, but I think it would be worth informing them.
There were over 1,200 accidents involving e-scooters last year, and 9 people were killed.
Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. So you've provided 2 readings of 91 and 86. 86 is more than twice over the legal limit, which means that you will be charged with the offence. You won't be charged until the morning, until you drop down below the legal limit. Right. So we'll put you in a cell and you can go to sleep for a bit, all right?
Okay. Just take it to the cell floor, please.
It can be quite daunting, I suppose, for somebody that's so young, but ultimately, I suppose he's got to grow up at some point as well and realise that what you do does have consequences.
Over 1,000 young drivers are killed or seriously injured every year, and males account for most of these.
Late teens, early 20s, you're in play for being a statistic at some point in time, unless you're lucky. You can be a careful driver, be a competent rider, but inexperience there is always against you. Youngsters are the highest risk groups that are involved in serious and fatal collisions, sadly.
Life's full of decisions. Sometimes you make the right one, sometimes you make the wrong one.
The level of devastation that comes with not really thinking about how much responsibility you've got when you get behind the wheel of a car, it's horrendous, it's horrific.
Still overtaking vehicles.
In this episode,
We'll go for it now. Move up, move up, move up. Right, we've got box on, bring it down, bring it down.
the young driver and his passenger who sped away from officers at more than 100 miles an hour, who had to be forced off the road.
We're going to go for tactical contact to keep him off the A1.
Are currently released under investigation on suspicion of dangerous driving, no licence, no insurance, and aggravated taking a vehicle without the owner's consent. Police are also awaiting the results of drug tests on the driver.
Your nurse?
Yes.
Just keep him talking.
The young rider who crashed head-on into the back of a tipper truck after being blinded by the sun.
Come on, mate, talk to us.
Is on a slow road to recovery, but has not sustained any life-changing injuries. So far, he hasn't ridden again. No action was brought against anyone involved in the collision.
431. Passengers have decamped, but the driver's made off, sped off at speed.
The young man who raced away from police and ended up rolling his car into a field
Vehicle's on its roof.
was released from hospital soon after and did not sustain any serious injuries. He's been released under investigation on suspicion of failing to stop for the police, dangerous driving, and no insurance. The young man who took his mum's car for a late-night joyride was arrested for drink driving.
Oh, it looks like that. It's that Beamer, isn't it?
Taking a vehicle without the owner's consent, and driving without insurance and a licence. He's also currently released under investigation.
He's wobbly, isn't he?
And the drunk e-scooter rider was prosecuted by the courts.
Legal on 91, OK? So that's quite a long way over the legal limit.
He received a £130 fine and was disqualified from driving for 21 months.
And the traffic cops are back next Monday at 8, or join them in their daily cat and mouse pursuits with Britain's speeders every day, streaming on Pluto TV. Next, it was a winter storm like no other, and all we could talk about, the beast from the east, the big freeze of 2018, blows in brand new next.